Today is a bit of a little milestone for us, for myself at least. I think this must be the first research conference I attended as the SecGen, having been here for 2-3 years.
It's actually the first time I've attended a research conference whereby the researcher speaks and then the practitioner speaks. Actually, the practitioner's stories are very important because it looks at the gaps in the research and then substantiates or supports some of the research. So this is very unique. I think research should increasingly move towards this particular area, in this particular direction, because we are looking at how knowledge can leap out of papers into practice, extending the whole value chain of research from just knowledge and insights to action and what we can do about it.
What every worker probably needs in order to effectively ensure themselves against disruption in the future economy is to be able to deal with knowledge work.
But to do that, they need to be retrained. They need to be, there need to be a mindset change.
So what we find is that a union member, if they were employed 12 months ago, is more likely to be employed now than a non-union member. A union member 12 months later is less likely to go from unemployment to unemployment or into the labor force. We also ask the question the other way around. Take an unemployed person and look at them 1 year later. We find union members are more likely to be in a job than non-union members. So our conclusion here is, compared to non-members, union members have more stable employment. That is, they're less likely to lose their job within a given time period.
Now, unionized companies are more progressive. You may not agree, but you ask me, yes, it's true. And we have always supported employment and employability of our workers. Now, some companies even give additional grant for the employees to upgrade their skills and knowledge through the many skill future courses.
Underemployment is really too complex to measure with a single indicator, and we really need to consider multiple indicators. The key challenges they face here: the skills are not really recognized at the workplace. As you can see, the contrast, people recognize the qualifications but not really the skills.
I hear very clearly that earlier on when Sister Tana made a mention, they are also proposing that the management, that the government remove the glass ceiling in the healthcare industries, so that to recognize more skill than qualification. In the transportation industries, we have not only removed what we broke away the glass ceiling.
I think there's a newer group of self-employed individuals or full-time freelancers beginning to use co-working spaces. This is quite a new phenomenon. And they market skills through online platforms. So which means that, from an advocacy perspective, if you want to reach out to them, these people are on online platforms.
What's the future economy like for us? If AI can now do cameras where they can change focus after you've filmed it, do you need people like focus pullers? When you're virtual environments, do you actually need people film on location? All these things need to be talked about, not to give an artificial crutch, but for people to think ahead of what they need to learn and upskill themselves.
Most interesting for me is the new jobs which the academic have identified, because especially in the media sectors, a lot of so-called freelancers, they're actually on project basis. And I realized today that the NTUC are doing a lot more in this area for the freelancers.
OTCi has tremendous expertise in the issues that are of importance about the labour market. By ourselves, we would not have the scope or the reach to be able to carry out the type of research that we hope to do. But with OTCi, that reach has expanded tremendously, and that's why we benefited a lot from this collaboration as well.
I think it's useful for the labour movement leaders to get some in-depth research study into such of these topics that are important to our working people, and they provide the real value in terms of the actual survey findings, and that will help us to confirm some of the sensing that we already have on the ground. And when we speak now, we speak with more authority.
Very happy to see the Labour Research Conference being restarted again, because in NTUC, while we do the day-to-day work, we must always have a perspective of the future trends. The research unit in NTUC is that unit that gives us the ability to look further ahead so that we can better prepare for tomorrow. Because there are many challenges that are emerging now. For example, the changes in technology impacting on the business model, employment models. All these require us to have a sense of what are the upcoming challenges that we will face as a labour movement. So we hope that through this research conference, for example, we can have a better sense of how do we prepare our workers for the kind of work environment going into the future. How can we prepare them for their longer lifespan, longer working lifespan, and at the same time, what are the other skill sets that we need to equip our people? What are the kind of regulations that we need to have to work with the government to put in place for the new generation of workers?